Woohoo! Hi, everybody. Happy Friday, day number 12 of National Life Coaching Month. My name is Becca Lynn. So happy to be joining you. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram. 4 platforms at once. I can do this. Okay, it's 2024. Last Friday, my topic was on imposter syndrome, aka imposter phenomenon. For those of us who might not feel qualified, feel good enough, maybe we've had a life event come up that we feel may have set us back or challenged us in a way to relook at and reevaluate how we're showing up, right? So I have this topic. This is near and dear to my heart. Very important for us to establish in all realms of life, personal and professional. We need to have healthy boundaries. Okay. And this could be a buzzword right now, too. Even my 14-year-old tells me, hey, that's a boundary, right? They're getting younger. They're picking up on it sooner, which is interesting. And as parents, we have to adapt. So every relationship, let's look at boundaries today. Let's coach around some questions. So for those of you who are joining us, just type in the comment. Really want you to take something from this today so that there can be change, action, moving forward, which starts with self-awareness, acceptance, and then action. Okay. And I do have a special guest who's joining us today. Taliba, welcome to the stage, madam. How are you? Can't hear you yet. That's okay. You can unmute. There you go.
There we
Nope.
go.
There you
Okay.
go.
I'm doing wonderful and I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So thank you. Taliba reached out because she wanted some coaching support, which all of our students and graduates get lifelong. Taliba, you took toe reading and then life coaching at SWIHA, right?
Actually, it was the life coaching first and then the toe
Then
reading.
toe reading.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Beautiful. And just so happens Taliba and I both took toe reading with Cheryl Speen back in the day. Bless her heart. She's shining
Yes.
down on us today. So
Yes, yes.
yes. So thank you all for being here in this time and space. I would like to invite you as we come into an informal session, just come into the present moment, take a deep grounding breath, cleansing any thoughts, any energies that may be holding you back from your highest self. Release and remove any energies that may get in the way of clear thinking today, clear asking, so we can really tune into our core. Maybe put your left hand over your heart, your right hand on your gut, your solar plexus, your knowing, your place of knowing, your center. And just breathe and know that this is a space of non judgment, a space of peace for you to show up exactly how you need to show up, to do the work. Okay. And I like to lean into that word, right? The work. Byron Katie actually coined the term the work, her life coaching work, which is our work easy all the time. Taliba, is our work easy?
No, it's not easy all the time, but
Mm,
but when you have the passion, you can make it through those times.
amen.
Yes.
So, coaching on boundaries today, and this is a serious question I want to ask to all of you already. Were you taught about boundaries when you were young? So, Taliba, were you taught to establish boundaries for yourself as a little girl?
I wasn't, but I established it on my own because I was a loner and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. So a lot of people were not taught how to establish boundaries. We're not even taught that we should have boundaries, right? So now that when you come into your power, right, and you realize that I don't have to keep giving myself away. It's okay for me to say no. Maybe we have some people pleasing tendencies, but realizing ourselves is the first step to being treated the way that we know we want to be treated. So, again, they're necessary in your personal, professional life. These are the guidelines, rules, or limits that help you create and identify reasonable, safe, and permissible for others to treat you, right? And how you behave when people don't treat you as such, right? So, in the words of Brene Brown, who's one of my favorite life coaching um, guides, is clear is kind. Clear is kind. So we'll visit that because I'm wondering, for those of you watching, is there a certain place in your life where you need to be more clear? Right? Do we leave too much room for interpretation? And what happens when we allow someone to cross those boundaries, right? And we forget that we have the choice. So Taliba's agreed to join me today to kind of just coach around. Maybe there's an area, maybe there's a relationship in her life where she can establish and or reestablish to compassionately communicate boundaries. So, no pressure, Taliba. I didn't really tell you where we were going to go with this today.
I'm okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. So we'll lean into the authenticity and vulnerability of what comes. And like the same for everyone here. However comfortable you feel willing to share and show up is everything. So let's ask the first question. First coaching question. Is someone testing or crossing a boundary in your life? Taliba.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I have a few people.
Okay. And so, for the sake of keeping names private,
Right, right.
I would like us
Most
to
of them.
also
Mhm.
honor when
Right.
we do this work, especially public and group coaching, that we can keep their names private. You can share kind of on a surface level, maybe what that relationship looks like right now and why you feel you need to establish a boundary there. Would you like to choose one of those?
Yes, accountability is important to me.
Okay, beautiful. So tell me how accountability is important to you and maybe define what accountability is.
For me, it's honoring what you say, uh, honoring what you say,
Mhm.
and
Or doing
and
what you say
you
you're going
know,
to do.
and doing what you say you're going to do. Yes.
Okay. So, how is a person in your life or relationship or circumstance, are they not holding themselves accountable?
No, they're not.
Okay. Okay. And without, how do you think that crosses a boundary for you?
For me, I always say if you for some reason cannot do what you said,
Mhm.
just let me know that, and it's okay. I just want to be told I'm not going to be able to do that, or I'm not coming, or something like that, and I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
But when a person says that they're coming over to my house, for instance, and then they don't show up and they don't call, then that doesn't feel good to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. Now I
Mhm.
understand the scenario here.
Mhm.
So it sounds like, and I'm going to ask a question here. How does it make you feel when they don't let you know that they're not going to show up when they say they are? What kind of feelings does that bring up for you?
I feel that I'm not that important to them. I feel that they don't value our friendship.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
those are valid feelings.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to validate your feelings. I honor that you can lean into what it is, right? So it's that core experience of not feeling valued. Um, how have you responded in the past? And I'm going to let you be accountable too, authentic. How have you responded in these scenarios when this person doesn't give you a heads up? So when you're feeling undervalued, how do you show up or how do you express that?
I just approach it and I tell them that I feel some kind of way and I feel that I need to talk about it. And so I just feel that, and I tell them how I feel. And because there were times when I was going to prepare food and things like that, but I didn't do it. And so, and the question came back from them, are you going to divorce me? And I said, yes. And
Okay.
we laughed, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So it was like a
Mhm.
playful,
Yeah.
playful but serious
Hmm.
response.
Hmm.
Okay. So first I want to celebrate you in that your response was very mature, right? It was
Yes.
mature.
Yes.
You had a response that was sharing from a place of feeling versus a place of resentment. And this is where we can show up not as our highest self, right? So if I'm feeling, and I'm just going to speak for me for a moment, I'm going to take off my coach hat. I'm going to speak for myself for a moment. There have been times in my past and even still my present where I don't get it perfect. And I might feel like when I'm undervalued or disrespected, right? Not being appreciated for my time or given a heads up, we might not always come across as mature, gentle in our responses, saying, hey, I'd really like to talk about my feelings about this. Right. So I'm gonna ask the question to those people who might not come off so with such wisdom, Taliba, is what is our initial response when we feel that root, right, of feeling undervalued or unimportant, right? This can be a root wound from a long time ago that can come up and we don't always behave how we want to behave. So Taliba, it sounds like you've done some work, right? And you're
Yeah.
able to show up in a space where you can say, I would like to talk about my feelings about this. And so, knowing that you've handled it with such grace, I'm wondering what you have done or how this person responded other than are you going to divorce me, which is cute, right? Because they're calling themselves out. Um how are you reinforcing that boundary or letting this person know, hey, it really makes me feel undervalued, our friendship not important when you don't let me know? How are you handling that? And how are you requesting healthy boundary?
Well, I just let them know that it's important to me that if you can't honor what you say, just to call me, because I've always said we should be able to come to one another or go to one another in a loving manner. We don't have to have attitudes, okay? And
Mm.
so the response was that she would sit in her car across the street. And, and I said, remember, I have security camera on my house and I can see you. And if you come to the door, I'm not going to answer it.
That's funny.
Right. And we laughed.
Yeah.
And she said, she thanked me and she says, I know I need to work on that and I'll do better and apologize.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was receptive
Yes.
to your request
Yeah.
and you were able to use humor to keep it out of a space of, you know, letting her feel shame or guilt, or, right? There was no anger. It
Right.
was just a space of expression, really.
Disappointment, though.
Still disappointment.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Hmm.
So we have to honor that.
It's still happening. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my question to you is, moving forward, when you do make plans with her, are you then able to ask the question of, if you're going to be late or can't make it, will you let me know?
Unfortunately, I did not do that the last time,
Okay.
but thank you for planting that seed,
Okay.
because it's I need to do that.
Right. And so let's take a look from the other side of the fence. Let's step into this person's shoes. Let's look through their lens, if you will. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes we expect us from other people, right?
Hmm.
And what if this person has ADHD? You know, what if this person can't fully remember, right? So, could we even ask this person, hey, what do you need from me so that I can, you know, have a healthy boundary with this, and it might help you to remember, you know, as you're just kind of teaching them how you like to be communicated with.
Hmm.
Because maybe she doesn't need that from other people and she doesn't mind that people do that to her, but it matters to you. So, and this is even important with clients, friends, family members. Do you need a new process to follow up on upcoming events with certain people? So, Taliba, before I'll meet with a client, I'll send them like a text message the day before or an automated email message that says, hey, looking forward to meeting at such and such time. Please arrive, you know, details, because clear is kind. So if they don't know my expectation, they're going to go with what they know and what they think best. And that might not always work for me. Right.
Right.
So, what if you're able to send this person a text message or some sort of communication saying, hey, let me know when you've left, and then I know what your ETA is. I'm always asking for the time of arrival from people. So I know I can do XYZ with my time until you're here. I love it. Yeah, look at that, Sonia. So Sonia posted a
Yes.
comment. Okay, so these are the things that come up. This person could have some sort of problem, right? Some OCD or IBS, right? It causes us not to be on time. We don't want to say these things. So we can always just say, hey, what's your ETA? You know?
Hmm.
And some people are forgetful, you know? And that could be a, I don't know, COVID brain fog, even still.
Hmm.
Did anyone have that? I know I did. But it's real. Or aging, you know, as we get older, sometimes our memory is just not as good. And I might have literally forgot I said, oh, I wasn't going to be there on time. So, Taliba, does that feel comfortable for you? Do you think you could make any sort of adjustments with this person?
Yes, that's would be most helpful. Um, I really feel that I need to do that because I have no desire to reach a point where I'm feeling a lot of resentment,
Mm-hmm.
and because from the hurt, and because I like to live. I say that I deal with the truth and the truth only, So when I look at something, I have no desire to deceive myself. And
Yeah.
so, and that's important. So you can take yourself way over there or out there, and it's not even necessary to go there. And
Right.
so I really um, I pay attention. I pay attention to that
I
for
love
myself.
that.
So
Yeah.
this is most helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And this is just one small step. This is one small example of life coaching that, if we do things a certain way and we keep doing it, we're going to keep getting the same results. Knowing we can't change another person, how can we ask and create these healthy boundaries for ourselves, though? So I'm expressing what I'm needing from you in order to feel valued, respected, appreciated, right? And that makes me feel good. But if I keep allowing, and this is where we have to come step into our power,
Yes.
because we get what we allow. So
Mhm.
sometimes, so when I say clear is kind, where are you not being clear in your life? And I'm looking at Instagram comments here. Indeed, I love these suggestions and considerations. So, Taliba, you mentioned resentment. So these are feelings that come up when we don't express clearly what we need, and then we keep allowing what others are doing. This comes back to us, okay? So we're responsible for clearly communicating how we would like to be communicated with, right? So in that space of resentment, I'm just going to name a couple things that can happen. Passive aggressive behavior. Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Boom, boom, right? Still, sometimes I'll catch myself going, whoa, 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 whoa. That was totally passive aggressive. And I gotta own that. Like that,
Mhm.
sorry, that's not here anymore. And it can lead to conflict. It can lead to falling out of friendships, right? We don't talk to family members for years. So knowing what to do in these spaces is
That's
essential so that you can maintain those beautiful and healthy relationships and make it to where you feel good about it, right? We don't want our relationships to feel one-sided. Sonia, yes, sometimes lateness is learned, so setting your boundaries is key by not expressing it. Right. Yeah. And she says, yes, I'm the queen of passive aggressive. Yes, girl. Okay. And a lot of us, when we're in that space, we think we're not being passive aggressive. But when you come out of that window, we can look back and really, there's a lot of deep work that we can do there, especially as women, because we think men can like read our minds sometimes, and that's fun. Shelly, as a woman, isn't our relationship always one sided? LOL. You know what? If we can clearly, compassionately express our needs, everyone will be a lot happier, right? Uh, this is good. I'm gonna ask Katie Wandres real quick. Katie's wanting to go live on Instagram. I'm gonna see if she can join me on screen or not. But Katie, let me know if you can join me and see what's coming up for you. But this is the other question that everyone, I would like you to decide today. So just like Taliba did here so beautifully, vulnerably, so thank you. Um, yeah, think about and place this person in your heart, whomever that you feel you've allowed to test or cross boundaries. Now I'm going to invite you to another space. What if you've never had boundaries with this person before? What if you've never had boundaries in general? And you're coming to this new space knowing that you're about to tell someone that you're requesting that they either stop doing something or you're asking them to take an action so that they can show up differently in that space. Now, when you're asking someone to make a change or telling them you're not going to allow something anymore, what happens? What can often happen? Taliba, what do you think? What can people often
Um,
do?
well, some people get offensive. Some people can get offensive and start coming up with excuses and and that kind of thing, and they feel guilty. That's why they become defensive. And I have no desire to, you know, uh, put them in that kind of mindset, because that's not what this is all about for me. It really
Right,
isn't. And
right,
so,
right.
but I do let them know that they will be asking the question, "Where's Taliba? Have you seen her? I
Mm-hmm.
haven't heard from her."
Mm-hmm.
I say that in this way, to them, and to let them know that it's serious, and this is going to help them with all of their relationships, not just me.
Right, right. So you're saying that if this continues, you're not going to allow it and you won't be around, right?
Right.
Yes. So
May
knowing
I
that
say
not
one other
everyone,
thing?
yes,
I
please.
I put it in writing. Mhm. Oh, I put it in writing that I desire to surround myself with people who love me, people who care about me, people who have compassion. And so I have to honor that statement that I've written down,
Mm-hmm.
honor myself.
Yes. You must honor yourself first. And that's the thing about, you hear growing up that you can't pour from an empty cup. This is all about boundaries. We have to keep our cup full in order to be of service, in order to give, in order to show up. So we have to remember that part of keeping our cup full is saying no when we need to say no, is saying not yet when we need to say not yet. And it is okay to prioritize yourself. So you got to take care of number one so that you can show up authentically in other places. Right? Sonia says, yes, Taliba. That is beautiful. Yes, honor yourself. Yes. And here's the thing, too, with the healing process. When we're honoring ourselves or we feel taken advantage of, unappreciated, do we always show up with compassion? Right? Do we sometimes have to remind people, like, hey, this is a boundary? And how can we still be compassionate in that space, but declarative? This is not allowed. I'm going to let you process whatever you need to process through. This is not an unreasonable request. It's just my request. Thank you. I love you. I see you. And then I'll see you when I see you. Right? Until they're ready to show up how you're asking to, experience that relationship. So knowing that not everyone is going to take it lightly, for everyone joining today, when you put that person in your heart of say, what boundary do I need to consciously, compassionately communicate? Okay. Think of how you want that conversation to go. And then visualize yourself as your highest self, teeing up that conversation. Okay. What question might you ask this person in your heart? What you would like to be different? What you might not allow moving forward, or what your compassionate request is, right? Without shaming, without blaming, without finger pointing. It's not you make me feel this
Mhm.
way. It's like Taliba said, I feel like our friendship is not valuable to you in this place. And that's her feeling. That might not be true. Your friend could love you to death. You might be her best friend. But that's how Taliba feels, and that's valid. So, as you're leaning into the possibility of having this conversation about boundaries, remember that you get to choose how you show up. You get to choose what you allow. And then it's up to you to recommunicate or reinforce your boundary. Maybe not knowing the details of why this person keeps showing up as such. And I'm going to have this boundary so that if it keeps happening, you'll know that, I won't be here for that. Right? And that's okay. Yay.
One thing I'd like to add is
Yeah.
that I remember when I realized that it's all about choices. Okay. So when a person would come to me and to talk about how someone else made them feel when they were upset, I'd listen, and then they'd say that person made them mad. I go, oh, I said, how's that possible? And they go, huh? I said,
Mm-hmm.
who's in control? I am. So it's a choice. And that's what I had to realize. And so I'd like to say, I have this saying, if a person stands before me to rain on my parade, I look at them with a smile on my face and I say, you know what? I was really having a good time before you showed up. And, and then I say, and you know what? I'm going to keep having a good time. And as I'm laughing and walking away, and I say, and you know what? That belongs to you and you can have it. And I walk away laughing.
And Taliba, that is everything, because you just stated how you maintain your power. So what you didn't do was you didn't give away your power.
Right.
Don't give another person your power. I am not going to let you make me feel anger. I'm going to maintain my joy. So, Taliba, you're able to stay centered and grounded in your joy and unaffected by another person's choice. And that is beautiful. That's, I think, what we all aspire to
That's what
be,
they
Taliba.
say. Yes. I know misery loves company. And I say, it's like a person that is not happy. It's like they have a fishing pole and they go fishing. And so they throw the hook out, and it's up to you whether or not you are going to allow yourself to be hooked and pulled into that misery. And so you can look at them and say, am I going to bite this hook? And you can say no. And that's the thing that, that's a part of our self-work, I believe. We have to do that. We have to do that to maintain the happiness that we have created within ourselves, because that's where it comes from, in here, not outside.
Yes.
So,
and that's the magic of boundaries. It's not selfish, it's essential. It helps us all keep our peace.
Yes.
And this is new for some people who don't have boundaries of their own. It's hard for them to respect other people's boundaries, right? When we have our own, we can really appreciate and respect other people's boundaries because we feel and we know how important it is to have them, right? So thank you for joining me today, Taliba. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I know it's been a while. We've been trying to connect to coach around some things. And I will stay here on the back end with you. But I just want to say thank you to everyone. Sonia said this was so enlightening. Yes. Thank you, Taliba and Becca. Yes. So the takeaway from today's informal group coaching session is to just really hold that person in your heart today. Think before we speak, evaluate the conversation that you would like to have consciously and compassionately, knowing that this might be new for others. So to ease into it with grace, integrity, like Taliba, and coming from a place of expressing feelings, and then offering the request of how you would like to be talked to, treated, and make sure they're realistic, right? Right? Make your
Yes.
realistic requests. So thank you all. Leave a comment for those of you who will rewatch this. I really hope that it makes some impactful, changes in your life and whatever relationship you have. Yes, thank you all. Yes, perfect. Okay. So next Friday, I'll be talking about vulnerability and accountability. So Taliba, a whole nother dose of this pretty much next week, but it's more about self. How do we show up vulnerably, authentic, and then can hold ourselves accountable? Because this can be a very uncomfortable place where we're not even able to start our work until we can be honest with ourselves. And what's our favorite thing to do is to just look away from what we really don't want to look at about ourselves is the place where we need to start. Woo! So
That's
much
right.
work.
Yes.
Love the process. So love to you all. Thank you for being here. Yes. And Taliba, I'll stay on the back end with you here. We'll just chat a bit. But
Okay.
everyone, see you on the flip flop. Good luck out there. Have some beautiful conversations and be well. Have a blessed and beautiful weekend. Stay warm.